Joined now by Marty Biron. Marty, the Leafs landed Ilya Lyubushkin, but it cost them 2 picks. And now no team has fewer draft picks than the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've got a first-rounder and nothing in round 2 this year. Next year, they don't currently have a single draft pick in the first 4 rounds. The cliche going all in gets used an awful lot, but that's basically what Brad Treliving is doing right now. Should he be making more moves between now and Friday's deadline? Should the Leafs keep mortgaging their future for a run this season, Marty?
I would absolutely do it. And listen, I understand that they're probably going to be more depth move, right? Because you have the salary cap that you have to think about. You have to also know the fit. Where does it fit within the team? But listen, I look at the Pittsburgh Penguins when they were able to win back-to-back Stanley Cups, or the Tampa Bay Lightning when they won back-to-back Stanley Cup. They didn't care. They traded all their draft picks. They wanted to win now, and that's what was important to them at that moment. So the Toronto Maple Leafs should be in that same mode right now. Win now, worry about the future later. If it is draft picks, trade the draft picks away. You never know what they're going to turn out to be anyway. So, yeah, I would definitely keep doubling down. Try to see if there is a piece that you can add right now that will help you, a rental, whichever way you want to do it. But look at how Pittsburgh and Tampa were able to do it, and they were successful at it.
There must be some big pots when you play poker. The Leafs needed a right D. They got that in Lyubushkin. But this is a player who hasn't scored. He's only got 4 assists. He's a minus 13 on the season. Earlier this week, you called the Leafs a Stanley Cup contender. If the Leafs entered the playoffs with this current group on the back end, would you still call them a contender?
Well, I always say it depends how the goaltending is doing. If your goaltending is above average and one of the best in the league, you can win with this group of defensemen. But if you have average goaltending, you're going to have to really be much better defensively. And look, Ilya Lyubushkin has already been in Toronto. He knows the team. He knows the players. He knows the systems. So maybe that is why, and the fact that he's a right-hand shot, that is why that you reach for Ilya Lyubushkin. But you also have to understand that the Carolina Hurricanes are retaining salary, basically saying, hey, we're going to facilitate that trade for you, Leafs, and we're not really worried that you're adding Ilya Lyubushkin because, you know, we may play you guys at some point in the playoffs. So I think that's interesting that the Carolina Hurricanes are not worried about it. I don't think that Lyubushkin really moves the needle for me. It is still going to come down if your goalies hold up and if your top 4 up front are able to produce. And that's all that is going to matter for the Leafs in the postseason.
No surprise, but I'll say it anyways. The Leafs Stanley Cup odds on FanDuel didn't budge after the Lyubushkin trade. They're still sitting at plus 1,300. That makes them the 8th favorite, tied with the Winnipeg Jets.